drums, and that is not acceptable to me. And with the persons, without a garage, and this is unbelievable that we're going to do this, persons without a garage, and there are many in Bryan, the situation is worse. Having 95-gallon drums sitting outside the house or in their backyard is unsightly and aesthetically poor. With the plastic bag method, there is nothing there, no clutter, no mess. And last but not least is the unsightly appearance of these 95-gallon drums in front of houses up to 48 hours before putting them back to proper storage. It makes the city and the streets look cheap and undesirable. Heavy traffic on South Main Street, very busy daily with local and out-of-town traffic with 95-gallon drums upright or tipped over, and possible traffic problems is not a desirable situation. A trip to Hicksville during the garage garbage collection will enlighten you of the appearance of these drums on the street. These issues are serious and require discussion. Pushing through programs like these without citizens' input and consideration is not the best course. And I just want to say that this affects everyone in the city, this new switch. And I don't think it was done properly. I don't think it was consulted. The city did not consult with the members. I've talked with several people. They don't like it. They think it's not necessary. Some of the people said they would be willing to pay more for the current method of garbage collection. So right now I'm paying $5 a week for my garbage collection. I pay $15 a week for my garbage collection. I do not like these drums, and I don't think most people do. We have a good system in Bryan. The bags are not noticeable basically anywhere, and once they're removed by the garbage collectors, there's nothing there. With these drums, they remove the garbage, and the drum just sits there. It could sit there for the rest of the day. So anyway, that's my opinion, and I appreciate your listening to my comments. And it's probably too late, but like I said, the first thing I noted and my friends noted 18 days ago from the Bryan Times, that's not a very long period of time to give us consideration to the citizens for this project. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of me? I'm not a garbage expert. Any questions?
No, sir.
I think for me, I've heard so many comments on raise the price, raise the price, raise the price. We want it to stay the way it is. It's not just about the price, people. We don't have the help.
But
We don't have manpower to do this.
Yeah, we lost 4 CCNO people to help the street department. We don't have them anymore.
Well, what about the total economy? There's other places that don't have employees either. They don't shut their employees down. They don't shut their business down because they're lacking employees.
Well,
I mean, that's,
some fast
That's the
food
name
restaurants
of the
have to
game
shut
right
down
now,
because
you
they
know.
haven't had people.
I'm not sure when you say you don't have people, I don't know what that means, but am I supposed to stay here?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I think the economy hurts. The economy hurts all of us, and these ups and downs, we have to go with the punches. But the system we have here, to me, is much better than any of these other small towns. And I just think it's a mistake. I think you have to keep looking for people. I mean, I don't know who's in your who in the government is in charge of hiring people. I mean, everybody's got to do more work through this lack of our contacts with friends and so on. But I mean, we all got to do a better job of what we do. And so that's, okay, there's nobody. I don't know who's collecting my garbage, but as of this week, it was collected. So how did that happen? I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Karen Gallagher. I'm a resident of Bryan as well. I'm going to piggyback off of what was just said. As a resident and as an elected official, it's oftentimes important to let your position be known, right? That's what we want and what we want to hear, so I'll do the same. I too am opposed to this. I think there are many people who are opposed to it. Having just heard what that reaction was about getting people involved, my suggestion would be to come up with some kind of committee that we could look at, because there's more than CCNO out there. There are ways that we can look at people who could join in and help in this cause. We do it all the time in government. We look at ways to solve problems. And I would be more than willing to get involved in that, and I'm certainly so would this gentleman. So if we were asked to be able to be part of this, the trash collection, as interesting as that sounds, that is a plus for Bryan. That is really a plus. If you talk to other communities, talk to Montpelier community, who ended up not doing that, and they have the big bins, and what they talk about has happened to their community. A concern that I have is what's going to happen with the square. There are residences on the square. Are they going to be required to put their bins outside? And is that going to be a site for us around the square when we're trying to entice people to come to Bryan, to be part of this community, and to bring people here from outside? So what's the garbage position going to be? So I would be willing to volunteer to be involved in something like that if you decide that it's worth doing, so that we could really look at what kind of options are available. I think if we put our minds together, there's always a solution to a problem. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council.
Good
My name is
evening.
Jacob Lesson. I too wanted to come to you today to speak about the Republic Waste Service proposal that you'll be voting on today. I think my goal here is to implore you, just as this gentleman and this fine lady has done, to vote this down. I think there are several factors that have been overlooked and not considered, and there's been quite a bit of reckless behavior, if I may add, in the justification or lack thereof over the last, I believe it's been 18 days since the announcement came out via the newspaper, as we all know. So I'd like to ask several rhetorical questions for your consideration. This isn't meant to become a debate, just to spur thought prior to your vote today. I was wondering if the following factors have been considered around the service. Have we done any due diligence on online reviews of Republic Waste Services, maybe testimonials of those individuals that have that service? Better Business Bureau reviews. I think what I could find was not favorable, but I implore you to do your own due diligence prior to making a final decision. From the city's perspective, I heard there were job openings, or at least one, that was open for 2 years, I believe, at the last council meeting. I could not find this. I looked on the city website, the street department website, Indeedjobs.com. Incidentally, I did find openings for Republic Services there. A general Google search didn't yield any favorable results. So I'm wondering, is summer or seasonal help an option? If not, why? Where is the job description and the community outreach? I think I just learned 2 weeks ago this position was open, and I have a son that would be interested in doing something like this if it created a path for him. I also wonder how many police reports have been filed pertaining to the accusation that was made in the last council meeting that citizens are allowing trash to be dropped off in the middle of the night. I think that's an unjustified claim. I'm very curious to know if council has done their due diligence here as well to understand if that's true or just a statement based on some other motivation. A statement was also made, it now takes 2 days to pick up what it used to take 1 day. So I'm curious, is this based on an increased measure of weight, volumetrically? Is this an underlying performance issue within the department? I do not know, but I think, again, more due diligence that needs to be done to understand what that statement means, not just there's more work to be done. I'm wondering what actual alternatives and costs are out there to keep the premium Bryan service. You heard Ms. Gallagher. That is one of the prime highlights of living in the city of Bryan. I've lived in other areas of the country, and that is one thing that has brought me here. Obviously, the school system, the community are other great things, and I'm very proud to be part of that. But knowing that my waste can be disposed of easily, simply, and it's dependable in the fashion that it is valuable to me as well as many others. I'm wondering if you're going to make the decision tonight to genuinely degrade the level of service that this city offers its patrons. And then, in turn, impose punitive threats and/or fines against those patrons that have lived here for so many years for not accepting that proposal. I think the question was brought up in the last council meeting, will people be forced to do this? And yes, we have to take care of our streets, but now we're shifting from a premium service to a less service to punitive consequences. It's a slippery slope and it's going the wrong direction. So I asked for alternatives. I believe in the last council meeting a statement was made that one of you has received more phone calls on this than any other issue before. The people are speaking to you. Are you listening? They're asking about this. They want more info. They want an educated, correct decision, not an 18-day, urgent, almost desperate, reckless decision. The last thing that I don't think anybody brought up was container theft. When we talk about the economics of the proposal, if one of those cans came up missing, what does that replacement cost? Who's liable for that? Right now, I can't leave my car doors unlocked or the change out of my cup holder disappears overnight. $75, just an estimate, container, that could have value to a certain portion of our citizenship. So finally, in summary, a few of the reckless statements that I heard in the last meeting were, we only had one bidder. That's unacceptable. 3 bids for any job, especially of this magnitude that matters to the citizenship, is necessary. We don't know if we can do it. But why? Why don't we know? Because the labor market, again, the question was brought up, well, how are other businesses doing it? More due diligence. We don't know what it would cost. That's unacceptable. If you make the assumption the labor is there, calculate the finances behind it, and then come with a proposal. And then last but definitely not least, let's draft the new laws and vote on it on our next meeting without any of that homework. And maybe some of it was there. But again, these are rhetorical questions. We're drafting litigation and putting something into swift action with, in my opinion, and several others that I've spoken to around the community, the proper investigation and communication being done. I do want to thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate you listening to probably more than any of us wanted to hear, but it is valuable, and I think I'm not speaking for just myself here. Several of the individuals I spoke to in the last few days are behind me and supporting these endeavors as well. And I too would like to support Ms. Gallagher if there's some sort of committee or anything that needs to be formed. You have this community support to solve the problem, not just Band-Aid it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
my name's Roberta Dell. I did not attend the last council meeting. Unfortunately, I did not realize it was happening. So as you all know, the rumor mill can send out a lot of stuff out there in the galaxy. I would like a couple questions asked. You made the comment, is it Mary?
I don't know. Could have been.
You made the comment about CCNO.
Yes.
We cannot have help from there any longer?
Right, because they now have hardened criminals there. They won't release them to us.
Okay, that answers that. I didn't know
Yeah.
why.
Yep.
The recyclables, what's going to happen with that process? From what I've heard from someone who attended the last council meeting, they made the comment that Republic doesn't really care about the recyclables, that you can throw anything into that bin. And I'm a very strong believer that we need to recycle as much as we possibly can. So I just wanted, and I'd also heard that eventually the recyclable bins will be eliminated, that area. The only thing that will be able to go out there is the lawn
garbage that we pick up, our limbs, our leaves and stuff like that. I want to know if that's true. Is that what the projected?
Can Tyson answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyson. Which one?
I think on the recyclables, and we do have someone here from Republic that was at that last meeting, so if I'm wrong, let me know. I think it was a older resident wanted to know if they didn't have to recycle, and I think the conversation was, well, we can't force you, but we strongly encourage it. So it was,
Clarifies
that was taken out of context, I believe.
Everybody will have 2 containers, one for trash and one for recycling. And they pick it up with 2 separate vehicles, correct?
On separate days also.
Okay. And recycling then is taken to Fort Wayne and sold at their facility.
Okay. That,
And what was your other question?
that was basically the answer.
The recycling center.
No, the
Yes.
Oh, the
recycling center.
recycles.
Yes, the only thing we'll take out there anymore is your acid waste
When will that start?
when they take over,
Okay.
July sometime.
And my understanding was that we have monthly anything goes trash pickup. What does Republic have? What is their thing that they're going to require? Or are they even allowing anything goes trash pickup? Because I worry about, I'm lucky enough I have a pickup truck. I can take things to the dump. But there's a lot of people that don't. A lot of elderly people that cannot do that themselves either. So, I don't know who answers that one.
I'll go ahead. It's,
Okay.
so once a month, there will be a large item you can put out with your trash container. And then twice a year, we will have 3 days set aside for residents to bring items out to the street department. You'll have to provide like proof of residency, and that would be collected at no extra charge to you. And
So that means then the people have to take the stuff out there themselves?
yeah,
Yes.
Which create,
once a month, you can put one large item out with your garbage though, throughout the whole year. Like, it'll be a
can it be like a
designated day.
box of items?
Ashley, I don't know
So
that.
like a large item would be like if you have a chair, or a couch, or a washing machine,
Okay.
or any non-freon containing item. If you had carpet that was tore up, we just cut down on like 2-foot sections, we'll take that also. If you had a box with a bunch of stuff in it, yes, it's a
Okay.
box. I mean, we will, just large items, we just can't have it all like a
Yeah.
piano. No, we're not gonna pick up a piano, but things that the
Oh, come on.
average person or 2 people could lift, we will take as your large item.
And you can add smaller items every week to your
Yeah,
tote.
they fit in your cart.
Yeah, whatever fits in your cart can go. So if you have a broken ceramic pot, you throw in there.
Mhm.
If you have a sink, you can throw in there.
Okay.
So every week is really a big trash pickup only for small items, right?
And if this passes, when is the projected time that this is going to be in place,
July 1 is the projected date.
that it will start? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
if it would pass, we do intend to have mailers sent out of some kind with more details to the residents. That will be something I think we need to communicate when you contact them.
And I would also like to say that I am not in favor of this, but I know at the same time you guys all sit up there and decisions that have to be made are very tough and very hard for you, but it's also hard for us. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a question for the lady in the back there. Last time, the gentleman that was speaking, when we talked about a large item, he said something about 35 to 40 pounds. And you're mentioning washing machines, sofas, that's going to be more than 35 or 40 pounds, so.
Hey, Ashley, would you come up to the podium? Is that okay?
So he established the weight limit just to kind of as a baseline. So we'll have 2 guys that go out and pick up the large items. We don't, if 2 guys can team lift it into the receptacle, that's fine. We can't have like excessive things, like a piano is the thing I think of. Most people think of large items that they're gonna be disposing of on a monthly basis. I think of maybe an old couch or an old TV or a chair or a dryer or something to that extent. Again, if the guys can team lift it, it would be something that they could do, yes.
Okay, so it's more the two people who lift it. as
Correct,
opposed to
yes.
an actual
The
weight
average
limit.
person, if they can pick the item up and put it into, we'll have a resi front load truck is what we'd be using. As long as they can lift that safely into that, that's something they would take. I mean, that's our main, I think that's why he established a weight, because, we want to make sure our drivers are safe and we don't want them to try and pick things up that are too heavy.
But there's a big difference between 35 and 40 pounds then.
A recliner.
Well, right, exactly, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the other thing I got from them today too, just to follow up, like, 2 people could carry an empty shutout, but it's too big to put into the back of that truck, which is why she mentioned the size of the truck too.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Anybody else wanna?
Sure.
Or actually, we got a gentleman coming up here.
Oh,
Okay, come on, ma'am.
My name is Virginia, and I don't have any complaints. I just want to voice my opinion. I did some research from other cities that have this type pickup, and different ones I've talked to said that they hated it at first because they didn't like change. But as they got used to it, they would not go back to the old way of their town. And that a lot of times people don't look at things, they look at change and say, I don't like it. And they said that a couple of them I talked to said it would probably be better than having the red containers set out on the curb for a week and a half. People just grab them up when they get ready to put the recycle back out. And that, and I've been in different towns, just curiosity, looking to see how it looks if they've got their tubs or their bins on the side of their house or the back of their house. And I don't see that there's it makes the city look bad or that. And I just wanted you guys to know that people have to look at all aspects of things before they think that they can, things are done. But I also want to compliment you guys on looking at trying to get a service, because I've been hoping that this would happen for the last 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Virginia.
Virginia, could we have your last name? Fisher? Oh, she belongs to you, sorry, Michael. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
Good.
Morning.
I'm Eric Rezebeck. I've lived in the area since about 95. I moved back to Bryan in January. About the last 5 years, I've lived in Montpelier. Now, they don't have Republic garbage service. They have ARS. But as far as I can tell, their services are duplicate. And living 5 years in Montpelier with that trash service was horrible. You take for granted what you have going right now. You have big trash pickup every month. Once that's gone, you are going to miss that. What's going to happen is stuff is going to get set in your house. Now, there's going to be responsible people that will drive their stuff out to the dump. But let's think. You know there's people that aren't. So that refrigerator box is going to get shoved in the yard. That washer doesn't work. It's on the porch now. Refrigerator doesn't work. Now it's in the yard. All that trash is going to start piling up, and the town is going to look horrible. It happened to Montpelier. You saw it everywhere. Once ARS got rid of their monthly large garbage pickup, the trash started to collect, and the town looks horrible. Now, the bins, I've heard how they're so great. Well, here's the thing. you better have them out there perfectly. Because if it's not, and it's not in a position for their truck to pick up, it's not getting picked up. If it's crooked, not getting picked up. If it's not out far enough, not getting picked up. If the lid is up slightly ajar, not getting picked up. But guess what? They'll send you a picture. They'll get out of that car, take a picture, and tell you why they didn't pick it up. And drive by, so you got a full trash can that's going to sit there another week with your garbage getting collected again. So that was something that happened multiple times. Now, sure, you're like, okay, I'll be responsible. I'll make sure it's out there. It'll get picked up. But let's think of, 3 weeks ago where we had those really strong winds. And as I'm driving back from Montpelier, looking at all the trash cans knocked over, askew, all I'm like is, guess nobody's getting their trash picked up today. You know, when I moved back to Bryan, the trash system was so much better. The houses are cleaner. Sure, there's things wrong with it. Sure, I'm sure it's going to get a little expensive. Maybe we don't have the manpower for it, but I don't recall seeing any publications looking for people to hire for garbage men. But I did see this, seeing you guys were going to change this. I was very unhappy about that. It made no sense to me. It's a very good system. I came from a bad system. I don't want to go back to a bad system because it's a bad system. You got a large screen TV? Guess what? You ain't getting rid of it. They ain't taking it. They just don't. So there again, more junk getting sent in your yard. If you want to clutter up these yards, you go ahead and do this. And you watch this town turn into a big trash heap because nobody's going to take their trash out. And as far as recycling, the recycling only gets picked up every other week. So if you're really big into recycling, well, it's getting cut in half. I don't understand this. The more I heard about this, the more it just sounded like they were just trying to weasel something through and pass it. You know? I haven't found anybody that likes this. Now, I'm sure it's going to get more expensive. $10 a month, overall, that's $120 a year. You won't notice that. It's way much better than going to a service that is going to gross up the town. And it will. And then, what? What are you going to do then? Look at this town and be like, oh man, saved $10 a month. We got junk all over the place. And very unhappy citizens. That's all I got to say.
Eric, I have a quick question. You were talking about like your big screen TV not being picked up. Did they have large item pickup? Is that?
No.
No, they don't. As I know, Republic is talking about large item pickup.
Well, here's the thing. They used to have large item pickup, and then came the pandemic, and then they stopped it. And then it just never got picked up. But see, here's another lovely thing is once they decreased that service, you saw nothing in terms of cost. So I'm paying the same amount, and you've taken away a service. It's not going to be good. And I know it sounds great. You'll have the bins, and you can roll them out, and you can roll them back. They're going to be a big hassle. You're going to have people not getting their trash picked up. And to be honest, those bins can hold about 4 bags. You've got a regular family, I imagine about 2 to 3 days, it's already full. And then you're just throwing the bags outside the bin anyways. And then it doesn't even matter because they're only going to pick up those 4 bags in that bin. I lived in Montpelier. The system was horrible. And it uglied up the town. And you're risking doing that to Bryan. I don't understand it. I understand you need people. Hire them.
Thank you.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Last one?
Yep. This will be the last one.
It's fast, because I'm about to have this, I'm freaking out, I don't like to talk in front of people.
Sure.
Nah, you're
This is
fine.
important, though.
You're fine.
Morning, my name is Jackie Freeman. I'm also here about the trash. We recently moved here, well, back in January, from Montpelier. Like he said, very similar situation. My concern is, my grandmother puts out 1 bag of trash a week. Those containers hold approximately 4 tall kitchen bags. And, I'm shaking. And, my grandmother, we go to Montpelier once a month to take hers out. She puts 1 bag in there and we have to take it out. She's unable to get hers to the curb. We live in Bryan now, so that's not really fair for us to have to go all the way to Montpelier so she can get her trash out. But she could take that little bag out there by herself. Another thing is, with the trash in Montpelier being that way, and we have a family of 4 and pets, and we didn't have enough room. And like he said, if it was cracked open a little bit, they wouldn't pick it up. We ended up with garbage in our garage that we had nothing to do with it. I know that a couple people had issues with all kinds of big trash stuff in their yards. There was sheds full of big trash bags in general. Just a lot of trash everywhere in there. It doesn't take too long to drive the streets of Montpelier to see that it's not good. It's not good at all. The trash here was one of our main reasons for moving here. The big trash is excellent. That is the best thing. I think that keeps the city a lot cleaner than what it would be. I'm done.
Okay, well, thanks.
All right.
It's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jackie. Quick, Drew.
Okay, next on the agenda is a resolution. Lori, would you please number and read?
Clerk treasurer's
Your clerk-
Oh, I'm
clerk
sorry.
treasurer.
Yeah, clerk treasurer report, sorry.
Council's been presented with the clerk treasurer's report for the month ending March 31st, 2022.
I'll move to approve.
Second, oh, go ahead.
I'll second it.
Judy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes. Next on the agenda is a resolution. Lori, would you please number and read?
Resolution number 23, 2022. A resolution approving the Community Reinvestment Area Tax Exemption application as submitted by David W. Swanson.
Good evening. Dave Swanson is doing some remodeling to 2 of the 3 storefronts that he owns on the north side of the square. He plans on $500,000 investment with facade and sprinkler system throughout, and also an extra $100,000 of equipment for his new restaurant that we talked about the last meeting. So with that, we need to approve his CRA tax exemption. It should be, I think it's for a 7-year abatement based on the dollar figure. If it's a little bit less, we will reconsider it after he's done, and it'll be a smaller term. But he says it should be around 500, so we should be in good shape.
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
Rick?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Mary?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Number 5 is a resolution. Lori, would you please number and read?
Resolution number 24, 2022. A resolution authorizing the chief of police of the city of Bryan to apply for and manage grants associated with National Police Dog Foundation for canine equipment for the city of Bryan as needed.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I'm looking to apply for a grant for canine equipment. It's a hot dog equipment. It monitors the dog while it's in the back of the truck. It necessary. It would roll the windows down, and basically for the safety of the dog.
You said hot dog equipment, I got
Not a dog
hungry.
side.
No, not
My
that.
mind went a different
I
direction.
know, I
there.
defined it too.
Does it have mustard?
I motion to suspend.
Second,
Mary,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Judy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes. Next on the agenda is a resolution. Lori, please number read.
Resolution number 25, 2022, a resolution authorizing the chief of police of the city of Bryan to apply for and manage grants associated with the Ohio Criminal Justice System and American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, for an MX 908 chemical detecting machine for the city of Bryan as needed.
Again, I'd like the opportunity to explore a grant that's out there right now for this MX 908 chemical testing machine. It's kind of on the top end of technology, and what the courts are hopefully going to recognize as a suitable readout of any chemical structure compound that we may take off of a substance.
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
John,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move to approve.
I'll s-
Judy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. That's it. Next on the agenda is a resolution. Lori, please number read.
Resolution number 26, 2022, a resolution authorizing the city of Bryan to use the standard allowance for the local fiscal recovery fund as authorized by the American Rescue Plan Act.
Council, this resolution, again, is for the ARPA funding that the federal and state government will be giving the city of Bryan in two different forms. And so we are asking for the standard allowance in order to receive that money.
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mary,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes. Next on the agenda is an ordinance. Lori, please number read.
Ordinance number 24, 2022, an ordinance to accept the bid with Republic Services, Allied Waste Services of Bryan, with the alternate bid price option for residential refuse collection and declaring an emergency.
Good evening.
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 I guess I don't know that I have any more to add. I guess, do you have any questions for me?
And I just would like to make a comment. First, I'd like to thank everyone that has come, not just this meeting, but the last meeting that we had. I want everybody to know, council has taken this very, very, very seriously. We all live in Bryan, too. I don't want to see this go away. I've been spoiled with what we have. We have one of the best systems there is. But we can't fund it anymore. We can't do it. We've listened to Tyson, and we just don't know if there is an option, people. The gentleman that said we hadn't done our due diligence on this. Oh, yes, we have. To someone that said, I've lived in Bryan all my life. I moved here when I was in second grade in 1948. This city is so special to me, and I just don't know what other way we can go.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions. I just have I guess, a comment that I'd like to make. And I, with Judy, have given this issue a tremendous amount of consideration, mainly because I feel once we lose the garbage, the trash pickup that we currently have, it's gone forever, because we will dismantle the trash collection system and it'll never be back again. I understand that all the refuse service companies that are out there are owned by one or two conglomerate parent companies. I've found that in my work away from here, that there just aren't a lot of, when you go to ARS, they're owned by a larger company that is owned by another company. It's amazing that there's not a lot of competition out there. So what I know is what we currently have is not sustainable. We have a lack of available workers, as Tyson has mentioned before. Our costs per ton with Williams County landfill keep going up, and you would be amazed at the number of tonnage that we take to that landfill every year. Our costs for bags keep going up. Polymer shortage because of hurricanes in Louisiana and Texas, believe it or not, are affecting the cost of our bags and driving those up. Equipment costs, purchase of equipment, the maintenance of equipment, all of those things are going up. And the recycling is costing us money. I know a lot of people think that recycling is making us money, but it doesn't. It costs us money to recycle, but that is a mandated thing that we have to do as a trash collection agency. There are people on both sides of this issue. It seems like the lighter users, 1 or 2 members of the family, are more for this because they can use those bins and it just makes things simpler for them. The heavier users, which tend to be more 4+ members of the family, are kind of up in arms because they use the all trash. And that is the big issue, as I see it, is the all trash. I'm a user of it. It's going to be greatly missed if we lose that. Some of the positives that I see with the proposal are the savings to the members of our community, $6+ a month. And that, you have to understand, is today. As we move forward, if we were to continue to collect trash on a weekly basis, those costs are only going to go up. And so today it's $6. In another year, we may have to raise the rates again. There's a savings to the city because of the employees that we have and the things that we have to do, as I mentioned before, all the costs that are going up. The bins, I kind of like those. I think that it's going to be easier getting the large quantities of garbage to the curb, and they won't blow around as easily as the red bins do. Keeping all trash in a modified form is a positive. And retaining curbside brush pickup is huge. I was president of one of our subdivisions for a number of years. During that time, we did not have any means of getting rid of our brush. And what I saw was people stopped trying to maintain their yards because they had no place to go with their stuff. They were piling it up in the back of their properties when they did. It was drawing animals into those piles of brush, or they were burning it illegally. And so that is a problem, and I'm glad that we are maintaining that. Some of the concerns that I have with the change are the bins being left on the streets for extended periods of time. That is something that we will have to police. Separate pickup days for recycling and trash. That means those bins are going to be out there more than just the one day. The fact that if you have boxes, boxes aren't going to fit in that recycling bin, so you're going to have to break them down or cut them up. And I know people that have the bins have said that that's kind of a pain in the neck. The entire process of having to haul all the trash to Town Line Road twice a year in order to get rid of the big items that are with all trash, that's a concern of mine. The reviews that I've read regarding Republic are a concern. When I see 1s and 2 stars out of 5, not specifically for the Bryan, but Republic as a larger company, they get very low reviews. And the last thing that concerns me is what I call, and I don't mean to be offensive to Spectrum, but I've experienced this, what I call a Spectrum business model. Start out with lower rates for the first 7 years, and then because of the lack of competition that's out there, that after that 7 years, when things come to rebid and we've already dismantled our entire garbage pickup process, that the prices will skyrocket. So what I am proposing that we do is that we vote down the current ordinance that is on the table. I would like to retain the recycling and weekly trash pickup that is being proposed, and either have that rebid or completely keep that. But I would also like to see the city continue curbside trash pickup twice a year, as opposed to having to haul it to Town Line Road.
I would like to ask a question. Can we go into executive discussion and discuss this and then come back out?
Honestly, that's a legal question, because I think last time I answered
Can
it
we
wrong.
do that, Rhonda?
We could under executive, or under acquisition of property. We haven't really given notice to the public that that's going to do it, but I think you could still call it.
Is that what we want to do?
I think we need to.
I think we do too. So does the president call it?
I think you would have to make a motion.
Okay. Can I make a motion to go in executive session?
I'll second.
I think we need, like, probably, okay, we can't have executive session in here.
Right, we have to go in our, right.
I don't know. Are we good, legal?
Yeah, I think you're fine. I mean, there's been public notice of this meeting. If you're calling an executive session, you have to give the reason for it in your motion, and then you can remove yourself from open session to handle that.
Can we go back in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
chamber?
yep. Who do you want in with you? Like, do you want Tyson?
Well, Tyson
I
for
think
sure.
Tyson would be.
You want Bryan?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Let's go. Lori, Rhonda,
I
myself.
think she's just made a motion, then send out the second.
Yeah, Rick seconded.
Rick seconded it.
You ready? Mary?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Okay.
Judy?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
All right, if you guys want to hang tight, we're going to go into a conference room over there.
Warm it up a little bit.
Phew.
Maybe it's because it was so cool in there. I can't, not sure.
Okay. Man, oh man.
You guys want to say anything?
No, I'm good.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
When we went into executive session, I had proposed an option that I felt might be a compromise. Couple of things, as I mentioned to some people, when I walked in the building tonight, one of my big concerns was the old trash. And one of the things that concerned me was the statement that was made at the last meeting about 35 to 40 pound limit on the one big item. Since then, it's been clarified that as long as two people can pick it up and throw it in the truck, the 35 to 40 pound limit is not the limit. That makes me feel better, because I feel that when I have an item, I'm not gonna leave it sit around and we're not gonna collect a bunch of them waiting for all trash. It's when that day comes when we have that extra one item, I can set that out there, get it off my property, and I'm good. So I feel better about that. As far as the curbside pickup, without going into detail, it was made clear to me that that is not a viable option, that the costs involved are not reasonable to go ahead and have a twice a year curbside pickup. So that's some explanation after I made that proposal. Some things were clarified to me. We had a very good discussion, and so we're going to go ahead and move forward.
Thanks, and I think it was a very good discussion, and appreciated Rick's thinking out of the box and is what other potential alternatives there were. I think that was a good discussion we had. We would like to thank all who have contacted us these past weeks and those who spoke tonight regarding the city trash pickup issue. We do appreciate hearing your concerns, which helps us with our decision-making and allows for a better understanding of the issues for all of us in order to do what is best for the city of Bryan. We recognize that although this resolution decreases our trash pickup fees for the next 5 years, it also decreases service convenience for many. The problem the city is facing has to do with sustainability from a street maintenance and financial viability perspective. The street department has been experiencing both a labor erosion and shortage issue the past decade or so. With an increase in trash volume with both recycling and all trash pickup, which are extremely labor intensive and limits the city's ability to keep up with street department maintenance. The labor issue, coupled with increasing expenses for landfill fees, gas, equipment, truck purchases, maintenance, etc., does not allow us to continue our same course. Through the past 2 months' dialogue with city administration and the Bryan citizens, I have yet to hear a better alternative than the current proposed ordinance to address the aforementioned problems. The bid was established months ago, and if we do not accept it prior to the expiration in the next few days, I highly suspect, due to our current economic environment, the future bids will be considerably higher, reflecting our current double-digit rate of inflation. Therefore, I would like to make a motion that council suspend the readings of the city trash collecting ordinance number 24 and accept the bid from Republic Waste Services.
I'll second.
John?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
I'll move to adopt.
I'll second.
John?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes. Item number 9 is the ordinance. Lawyers, please number and read.
Ordinance number 25, 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Bryan Excavating LLC for the project known as 2022 Noble Drive and Pleasantwood Avenue improvements.
I brought this project to you a few weeks ago, asking permission to bid it. Noble Drive went to heck over the winter, worse than it ever had before, so we're kind of calling this our street improvement project this year. So we received, I believe, 3 bids. The lowest and best bid was for Bryan Excavating LLC, $265,437.40. I think we're going to have a completion date, I think it's mid-September. So they're going to get started on it here probably in the next month or so. So if you approve, I would request you suspend the rules and allow me to proceed.
I'll make a motion to suspend unless someone had a question.
I'll second.
Mary?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Move to adopt.
I'll second.
John?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Item number 10 is the ordinance. Lawyers, please number and read.
Ordinance number 26, 2022, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a consent agreement with National Railroad Passenger Corporation, Amtrak, to allow for improvement to the Amtrak station.
Council, I have good news. The groundbreaking that was supposed to happen in the fall may still be on for Amtrak. It will still be on, we're just delayed. They had a fiber issue that they could not move the fiber based on where their design plan was for the original design. So they have had to go back and rework all of it. I know they've worked diligently with engineering and Derek Schultz from BMU on this, and so now what they need is the ability for me to sign a consent letter for them to start doing some things in our easement to get ready for that $3.2 million investment. So they are still on track, they're just a little behind schedule because of a fiber line that was outside of our control and theirs. Any questions?
I move to suspend.
I'll second.
Judy?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes. Item number 11 is a liquor license.
Yes, council, we are just asking that you make a motion that you can move on without a hearing for the transfer between Pizza Hut and Miami Valley Pizza. It's the same address, so they're just transferring the liquor permit.
I move that we do not have to have a hearing regarding the liquor permit.
I'll second that. It's always tricky in the race.
No, I didn't say it right, waive the hearing, but
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's
either way.
okay.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes. Okay, that concludes our meeting tonight. I'll go around the room real quick. Lori, you have anything?
No, sir, thank you.
Brian? Chief? Tyson? Paper? Rhonda? Start with John today.
Woo-hoo. I want to thank Dave Swanson for his investment in Bryan, continued investment in Bryan, actually. Also want to thank the chief of police, for the work on the grants. Also to Amtrak for their, I'm going to say persistent, maybe it's our persistence, but for upgrading the Amtrak station. And also to, I'd like to thank, as I already have, all the people in the city who have been expressing their concerns for Bryan to be the best. It's, you know, I got a number of phone calls about, and emails about how people wanted more information. They got that. Many of them got back with, I understand more, kind of a thing. Others did not, which is fine. And I think that's what I'm interested in. It's just making sure we have a respectful conversation, and we can agree to disagree if there are other options available. So I do appreciate the input and continue to appreciate the input, and hope we can continue to have that kind of dialogue. That's it.
Thanks, John. Judy?
Also to Mr. Swanson for investing in downtown Bryan. I want to say thanks to him. I also want to say thank you to all the citizens at this meeting and the last meeting that showed up for this trash issue. I just want to say to people, this council does not always get to make the fun decisions. We don't get to do that. We've taken a lot of flack on different issues that have come up, and we are trying to do the best that we can for this city. And that involves over 8,000 people, and that's 8,000 different opinions. So we have to kind of weigh all of this and come out with what we feel is to be the best solution. Sometimes I don't even like the decisions I have to make, but they have to be done. And we're doing it with an awful lot of thought behind it, people. We haven't done this on a spur-of-the-moment thing. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Judy. Rick?
Echo what others have said. Thank you to Mr. Swanson for his investment in the downtown. And I just want to say that thank you to the city residents for their input. Please do not think that it went on deaf ears, it fell on deaf ears, because it certainly did not. We've looked at the big picture on this, and really, trust me, I'm no happier than anybody else that we're having to change things, but we're having to change things as far as the garbage pickup is concerned. I know since I've been on council with Mayor Johnson, we talked about it several times about the possibility of having to do away with trash pickup just because it was costing the city so much money. And we at that time had labor from CCNO. That has since gone away, so now that has put us in a deeper hole. And my understanding from an email I got recently is this goes back to Mayor Runkle, so this is not new. It's been a very difficult decision. I will tell you, since our last meeting, it has engulfed me in the whole thing because I want to make the right decision. And there isn't an hour that goes by that it hasn't crossed my mind in that what is the right answer. And I don't know what the right answer is, but we gave you the best decision that we could possibly come up with, and I hope it is the right thing, and we will move forward. And again, I want to thank everybody for their input.
Thanks, Rick. Harry?
I want to thank also Dave Swanson for reinvesting in the city of Bryan. I also want to apologize to anyone who sent me an email through the city email. I can't get it to work. I used to be able to take my iPad to work and it would work. Now I can't get it to work at all. I want to thank the citizens who actually called me at work, called my cell phone, stopped in my office and talked to me about the whole trash situation. I hope I was able to answer your questions as you came to me. It was a hard decision to make, but I'm hoping that we made the right decision. I also would like to thank the chief for getting the grants and protecting our K-9 unit. He is a cute little guy. We got to keep him healthy. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thanks, Mary. Ben, I forgot you. See Wes back there too. Wes, you got anything? All right.
No, public's over.
Public's over for tonight. Mayor?
Yeah, this has been a long, frustrating conversation, and to be honest, I have a file in my office that was the start of the conversation on trash in 2018. And I know that was just the start of mine as a mayor. It wasn't the first time it was brought up, and the pandemic did, and I hate to use this excuse, but there was a 1.5 year period where we didn't make a lot of changes because we didn't know which direction to go. Otherwise, we probably would have been talking about this a lot earlier in a more lengthy way. I do think that, to the credit of council members, this was addressed in several meetings. It just wasn't reported out. I certainly would love, if the public has ideas on how best to communicate with you, I'd love to know, because we put things in the Bryan Times. You know, social media is a ugly weapon for some, so honestly, I have a little bit of hesitation on just putting a lot of stuff out there because I have to then take all the name calling that comes with it and have to spend a lot of time responding to things that I shouldn't be doing in my day. So truly, I have tried to find ways to communicate with the public in an effective manner. We've got 2 newspapers here tonight reporting on the meeting, so, you're welcome to buy their paper and subscribe to them. I know a lot of the conversation I have is, well, I don't buy the Bryan Times. Well, that's where we put the ads for employment. That's where we put the information about the meetings. We have a legal requirement to do so as well, so they get all that information 3 days before the meeting. So if you've got something that is not going to cost the city a lot in postage or whatever else, I love those ideas, because we really do want to communicate. Honestly, at one point, we were using Alert 86, and some of the people got really mad because we were using it for non-emergency communication, like a road shut down today. We would get complaints, and 911 EMA would get complaints that we weren't using it for the right purpose. So we're in the kind of job, just like everybody else is right now, where there's not a right answer. But I appreciate counsel, because the truth is, like, at the end of the day, this has been a 16-year-long conversation, because no one's wanted to do the hard thing, because we all benefit from the all trash. And so, as hard as it is, and as much backlash as we're all going to face during this time, I appreciate all of you listening to the management team in the city and having those questions and asking those hard questions to them, and calling us all the time and communicating with us all the time, and really seeking out those conversations and not being afraid to say, I don't like this, and can we look at something else? And we try to do that. So I appreciate all of you doing that. I know that it's been, over the last few months, very difficult. I applaud Bryan and Tyson for all of their work too. They've worked really hard on putting together a bid packet that we got a bidder on, because there have been times where we've had no bids on some of our smaller projects. So we will start working on, I've kind of talked internally and with Council President Kozenplek about putting a flyer together with information from Republic for the community and mailing to each individual house, so there's some good information on it that isn't necessarily something that is in an envelope that people aren't going to open, on how we move forward between now and July with that service. I do have something else to report, a little out of the box. We are going to have an Arbor Day, but it's going to look a little different. The elementary kids are going to have a pre-recorded program that will be played in their classrooms, because they're still not all getting together in one big gym. But Wednesday at 4 p.m., if you would have time, and I know you teach piano, but we are going to dedicate, finally, the moon tree that was donated in memory of Brandon Kreischer. And his family will be there, and Chris Bryce is going to help us with BMU to record that. And the donor, Scott Phillips, is going to be interviewed. I believe he's in Arizona, so he's going to do a Zoom interview with Jim Funderburg. They're going to kind of put a cute video together for the little kids about the moon tree and the history of it. We're going to have the tree dedication with the family Wednesday again at 4 at the elementary back drive. And then the video will be put together by BMU, and it'll be a really good classroom way. And then the kids on the 29th will get their tree that the Tree Commission works really hard on. So if any of you are available to join us, we'd love to have you. I'm sure the family would love to see everyone again. Their son Callum is 2, and he is adorable, and you guys will get to meet him too. So, thank you.
Perfect, thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo everybody's statements. I appreciate everybody coming out, voicing their concerns. I've actually had a lot more positive talk about the trash, but I'm glad we made a decision, unanimous decision. Let's move forward, let's communicate this good, and let's make it seamless. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry.
I motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
John?
Yes.
Mary? Judy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Now, there you go.